Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Now the data is in. We are in a full-fledged transition out of a toxic seller's market back into a buyer's market, and we are going to start getting deals of our lifetimes, especially in my opinion, from new home builders that are desperately trying to stay in business that offer amazing incentives to purchase their properties. Because here's the problem: demand right now to purchase new homes is completely gutted. Ain't no one want no overpriced house, and even if they did, they can't afford it because there's qualification standards that are super tight as a result of 2008. So ain't no one can get a house right now. And what that means to me is all eyes are on new home builders, because I plan on purchasing new builds to start. And hopefully one day I'll be able to retire off of that. Now, I don't want a lot. I just want maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 of them. That's it. But the regardless is normally, y'all, real estate is an absolutely amazing investment. But right now is one of the rare times, in my opinion, where it makes more sense to rent if you just sold your house. Or if you want to purchase, hold back. Like Jerome Powell said, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, sit out a little bit. Let us reset the housing market. But we're going to unpack some data from Zillow that's titled June Housing Starts. Builders continue to pump the brakes amid cooling housing market. Now, here's the thing that I'm going to try to do on this video. Now, I realize not everyone wants to hear my opinion. People are coming for the data. So I'm going to try really hard to keep my biased opinion. And my opinion is biased because I suffered in 2008. And I'm also an expert in real estate. So yes, my opinion's a little biased, but what I'm going to try to do for you guys, some people just come for the data. So I'm going to do the best I can at just sticking to the data. I'm just going to read the articles, and I'm going to save my opinions for the end of the video. So if you only want to hear me talk about the data and read these articles, then you got that. You can turn off the video when it's time for me to share my opinions, which will be at the end of this video. So I'm trying to create a format that appeases everyone. And I know I can't make everyone happy, obviously, but it doesn't mean I can't try, right? I just have to not get my feelings hurt when I don't make people happy. But let's get started with this article right now. Oh, before I do, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a YouTuber sharing with you my personal opinion. So if you can, please like this video, subscribe if you haven't, shoot me a comment below. I would certainly appreciate y'all doing that as always. Now let's get started on this article right now. Couple bullet points the article starts with. Housing starts dropped even further from the steep decline that occurred in May to 1.56 million, down 2% from a revised May 2022 figures, and down 6.3% from June 2021, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Housing permits issued in June were down 0.6% from May and up 1.4% from a year ago to 1.69 million. 1.37 million homes were completed in June, down 4.6% from May and up 4.6% year over year. But here's the thing, you guys, what I want to do is I want to put things in perspective for you. So I'm going to pull up a chart from Fred just to show you guys where we're at in the whole construction start thing. Are they doing a lot of building and starts historically, or is it way down? Is it plunging? Where are we at? Take a look at this graph right now. Okay, now this is Fred. New privately owned housing units started, and this is total units in the thousands of units. So this 1,800 represents actually 1.8 million. But the thing that I want to point out here is here's where we're at right here. We're still well above pre-pandemic. So if you look, y'all, and this, let me give you guys a 10-year. This is the 10-year outlook right here. Here's where we're at. We're at 1.55 million houses being started or being constructed. But again, this is just, look at, this is almost the highest it's been, pre-pandemic, for the last 10 years. So we still are doing a ton of construction, right? And let me move, and this is the 5-year look. Okay, so the 5-year look, it's really hard to understand where we're at with construction. But again, if you go over the 10-year, we're still super high. I mean, look at how low it was. We're double what we were 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, we're at 757,000 starts. 10 years later, we're at 1.5 million. So it's still, you guys, it's still a lot of construction going on. So what that means to you is we can expect throughout this year and into 2023 inventory surges, right? Even if the Federal Reserve stops and flip-flops, we're still going to have things surge, because remember, the housing market lags behind their actions, even though everything is fast, right? It's happening fast. There's still a lag. And it's when that lag happens when we need to start buying, right? In my opinion. But regardless, you guys, let's get back to this article right now. Builders continue to pump the brakes on getting new homes onto the market amid a cooling housing market. Housing starts were down from the steep decline that occurred in May and experienced the first year-over-year decline since spring of 2020. Yet, even with the sharp reduction in confidence and lackluster starts, it's important to note, at least for now, building activity remains strong relative to pre-pandemic norms. Permit activity followed a somewhat similar path with a slight drop from May, but just over June 2021, permitting levels just being consensus. So it sounds like even though the builders are slowing down, it sounds like historically it's still a lot. And again, I'm going to save my conclusions for the end of this, but it's really important for us to remember that. Okay, so remember, there's still a lot of building going on despite demand being crippled. Let's continue on with this article right now. Now, here's how the article is going to end. And remember, stick around for my final conclusions here, y'all. But here's how this article ends. But while starts and permit activity remain higher than pre-pandemic norms and constraints that have hamstringed the industry for months are finally easing, home construction is facing some headwinds in the near future amid changing market conditions. Home builder sentiment plunged in July to early pandemic lows, the second steepest drop in the series after April 2020. As the rising mortgage rates and worsening affordability have cooled previously red-hot demand for housing, despite recent drops in lumber prices, home completions declined in June, reducing the amount of new inventory that hit the market. While the market is cooling, new inventory is still necessary to soften price growth in coming months, and lacking new construction figures point to a longer recovery to pre-pandemic inventory norms, keeping pressure on prices. However, as demand continues to cool, we may see building activity suppress even further until there are meaningful improvements in affordability, incentivizing builders to re-accelerate their activity. So here's how I want to conclude this video. I have a couple points and conclusions that I have made after reviewing this. Now, number one, demand has essentially been gutted. What that's going to do in turn, and what you're seeing is inventory skyrocket. The problem with inventory skyrocketing and demand being crippled is it puts a massive financial burden on builders. When builders are under massive financial burdens, they start doing fire sales and giving buyers drastic incentives to purchase the property to avoid them going out of business. And the fact that we are well above pre-pandemic levels of starts, yet demand is completely gutted, is going to tell us, essentially is telling us that things to come in the future are going to be great buyers incentives from new home builder. So again, y'all, if you're out on the sidelines like I am and trying to find an amazing deal for pennies on the dollar, my eyes are going to be focused on new home builders because essentially they are pumping the brakes. Many of them are stopping anything new from being built. But the problem is they have to finish what they've started. If they don't, they go out of business. If they start going out of business, we start getting amazing deals, just like what happened in the past. Now, I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you're out there investing in real estate, I wish you luck and I hope you win.